Hi, everybody, and welcome to SA Rugby Magazine. I'm Kevin Ferguson. I've got Kevin Rich here, Rich Pickings, and there's certainly some Rich Pickings this week, Kev. Every once in a while, I'll look at the odds, and week in, week out, without doubt, this bookie's the spot on. But man, oh man, have they fucked it up this week.
You think so?
But green light specials all over the place, at least in two games.
You did. You did tell me before we came on air what the bookies were saying, and some of them do seem a bit.
But one game in particular, Connacht versus the Stormers.
21 points.
21.5 points. That means three more than three converted tries. Now, Connacht are technically good team. You know, the Stormers play their wings inside. Mm-hmm. And I think a team like Connacht can exploit that. Mm-hmm. And they certainly did almost last year. If it wasn't for a bad TMO decision, they should have won that game. So how the bookies get 21.5 points, and I guarantee one thing to my supporting public out there and anybody that follows me and has for years and know that I've paid hundreds of thousands of rands to people in teaching them how to bet and various other things. This game will be down to 14.5.
I think I don't disagree with you.
By kickoff.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about that game last year. Not only did the Stormers have to rely on a TMO decision right at the end to deny Connacht a try that would have won them the game or drawn them the game. I can't remember. Yeah. But anyway, it was a last move decision. So not only was there that, but that was also the night that Sasha Feinberg and Gilmer Zulu really turned it on.
Yeah.
Remember, he scored a hat-trick of tries. I mean, there was absolute individual brilliance in that game. And you can't always repeat that. So
no, I'm telling you now, and I don't tell people this very often. Whatever you have in the bank, put it on Connacht at plus 21.5 because it won't be there on Friday. It won't be there on Saturday. It'll be down to 13.5. I've pegged this game at 10.5 point handicap for the Stormers, and even then I was picking Connacht. So I've got 11.5 points that are in discrepancy. When you see a discrepancy like that, you just jump on it. If you get it wrong, you got it wrong, but at least you knew you made the right bet.
There's even more to it than that. The weather forecast for Saturday isn't good.
16 degrees raining.
16 degrees and raining. And
not only that, the geopolitical situation where most rugby games kick off at 1 o'clock, I believe, from a schoolboy point of view. So you'll have a lot of rugby enthusiast parents, children, not at the game.
It's actually a ridiculous time to kick off.
It is,
honest. I mean, in Cape Town in particular, because we have that Saturday coming through town. Because I'll go to the games. I know you try and give them a miss these days, but I do go for the games, and I drive through. And Saturday is an absolute nightmare.
Well, I'll tell you why I give them a miss, Gav. One, I don't like the experience at the Stormers Stadium, and two, I'd rather be home on my couch with my computer and my betting stuff and looking and analyzing sports.
All the other games.
Yeah. And there, if I go to the stadium, then I'm missing 2 hours there beforehand kickoff and 2 hours after. And I think on Saturday you got Super Rugby. Not that it's palatable to watch, but it's at least palatable to bet on.
Yeah.
So, folks, let's get into the. I mean, we were talking about Stormers. The Stormers plus 21.5 is a fiction.
I think they'll win the game. I do think they'll win the game.
They
can't see them doing it by that score.
But I think that you look at Connacht this year.
I don't know where they came with that. Where they get that from.
But it's wrong.
I mean,
it's wrong. Somebody at WSB should be fired.
Okay,
that's where I got it from.
Yeah,
21.5 for coming out with that.
Yeah,
like when I say it's 10.5 and then I see 21.5, where do you think my money's gone?
Yeah,
and all guns are targeted on that game.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And unless something, I think the Connacht are that team that are technically good, and they punch above their weight when they don't have the cattle. Mm-hmm. And this year, I believe they've got the cattle in the thing. It wouldn't shock me to see the Stormers be upset by Connacht. It wouldn't shock me.
Well, they've got Stuart Lancaster as the coach. They've improved a lot under him. They've done well in some of their games recently. They quite convincingly beat the Sharks a couple of weeks ago without their cattle. They had a lot of players missing that day.
Yeah.
I'm talking about in the EPCR Challenge Cup game. Yeah. They're a good team. They're a good team, and Dobbo. I can tell you that Dobbo and his management are taking it very seriously. I mean, they know what's coming, and also, I want to hesitate to say it because, sometimes there are things bigger than rugby, and the death of the manager is bigger than the rugby, and now on top of that, we've also got Scurra Ntebeni playing his last home game. Sometimes when there's too much emotion and sort of deflection away from the rugby, that can be
Solly was well loved, wasn't he?
He was. No, he was. So it's right. They obviously need to commemorate. I'm not saying that they mustn't commemorate his life. I mean, it's a compulsory thing. I mean, it's an obligatory thing.
He's such a character as well.
And it's the same with Scurra, who's a character on a different level. I mean, that guy. Okay, so Chippy Solomons. Was the manager of the Stormers for the first time in 2004.
Wow.
You know how long ago that is? I'll tell you how long ago
22
it is.
years.
Corne Krige was the captain. Getsmal was the coach.
Oh.
Since then, they've been through how many different coaches? How many different different people? I mean, because then we had Nick Mallet as the director of rugby at one stage, and Gary Gold and the late Kobus van der Merwe were the coaches, and then they went on to Rassie and to Alistair Coetzee. I mean, the number of what he's seen during that time. I think he was there when they first moved into the HPC, and obviously the switch from Newlands to Cape Town Stadium. I mean, it's just phenomenal, and he was like really part of the furniture. And a number of the players have said this week, like, we don't,
but
know,
not
we
part
don't
of
know
the
what it's going to be like without him.
Not part of the furniture in a bad way.
No.
Either,
No. I mean, he was basically
well loved,
respected, and a father. I don't, like people who haven't played in teams, and I haven't played team sports at professional level, and when I did play team sports at an amateur level, I wasn't necessarily a good team man because I like to be an individual. But the people who have played team sports will at professional level will tell you about that stuff that they trot out to the media isn't about it being a family, isn't nonsense. I mean, I know some people take it as an excuse, but I do think that the tragic death of Diogo Jota last year has had some impact on Liverpool this year.
But
I mean, he was their brother.
But
if you know what I mean.
His spiritual enlightenment was bigger in that change room than anything else, and I think you're seeing the direct result of that being taken out of the environment.
Yeah.
So yes, for sure, and God have mercy on his soul, Chippy. Rest in peace, and what a legend. And it will be draining. It's going to be a draining thing. Connacht's not a bad team.
They're a very good team.
They're not,
and they're in the mix. They're in the mix for top 8 and the race for top 8. They're 9th at the moment. They are, I think, 1 point behind the Bulls, who are 8th. They're 6 points ahead of the Sharks, who are also chasing a top 8 place.
Yeah.
So there's a lot riding on this game and this tour for Connacht.
Yeah.
They basically need to win. I mean, they go to Joburg next week. I mean, I don't think the Lions are as strong a team as the Stormers, but Joburg is Joburg. So I don't think that they would necessarily target a game at altitude. So it's going to be a huge game on Saturday.
No, they're targeting this game. And I mean, I was laughing with Mark Johan. I said, are they bringing their team? I mean, they're bringing their under-21s? What's happening? He just looked at me and laughed and said, no, they're bringing the full team. And so when I see 21, folks, 21 and a half, that's 3 converted tries plus a kick. And no one's kicking in a high-scoring game. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be a 21-15, 21-16 type of game. Either way, I'm not picking the Stormers to win because I actually think Connacht's winning this game.
Do you think so? Okay, I wouldn't go that far.
Well, we've disagreed before.
I think the Stormers will win the game. I think their forwards will be too strong.
Yeah.
Connacht have an amazing attacking ability.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a very busy, and as you say, their wide game's good. So and although you would say that the wet weather favours them because they're from Galway, their style of rugby also suits a dry weather game too.
Yeah, I just know that it's going to be cooler and a bit wet.
Yeah.
Who that favors on the day, I have no idea. It should favor a team like Galway that play always in the rain. But 21 and a half points is a massive mistake from the bookies. And if you want to be a professional gambler, if you want to be considered to be a student of the game, you've got to bet heavy on Galway, on Connacht.
Yeah. I'm going. Seeing you gave a score just now. I'm saying that the Stormers will win 28-19, but that's still well within.
That's 7. That's 14
14
and a half.
That's
point.
9 point. Yeah, that's 9. Yeah.
I'm putting 5,000 rand on Connacht plus 21 and a half, and I'm putting it on now. Before they move that, because I imagine I could trade out by Saturday when it's down to 13. I think it's going down to 13 and a half if the bookies know what they're doing at WSB, because somebody's about to get his first warning or his last warning.
It is a good day to bet on the underdog, to be honest. I mean, because what would you get if you just went for a Connacht win?
A straight win, probably around 6-1.
Well, that's worth it.
Of course, it's worth it.
That's worth it.
Yeah,
that's worth it, because I think Connacht. I mean, whilst I think the Stormers will win, I don't think Connacht come here without a hope.
But I thought it would be 10 and a half, and I was going to go plus 10 and a half on Connacht.
Okay.
Plus 21 and a half. Fill your boots, as they say fill your boots, as they say in Ireland.
Fill your boots.
Fill your boots.
Yeah.
This is a green light special. Walmart, buy it. Buy one, get 6 free. It's just a deal of a lifetime. This is the best bet I've seen in the last year and 3 months.
Okay.
Anyway, we're going to the Dragons Bulls.
And that's also not a gimme.
But I've got the Dragons plus 11.5. I had them in my own mathematical equations plus 7. So again, I'm seeing a 40% discrepancy in odds. I'm taking the Dragons plus 11.5.
They say that they saying the Bulls are going to win by 11.
12 by 12 or more.
Yeah. 12 or more.
Yeah.
I think that's more or less what it will be.
Well, more or less. I
think 12. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be more than that. I mean, so it's also a strange. I mean,
it's not.
Actually, I don't know. Dragons are a very good defensive side.
Yep.
They the Bulls might be able to bully them in the scrums. That's their way to winning the game. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Dragons don't win on Friday.
No, I wouldn't either. I mean, you got two teams that are the Dragons will stay in the game.
They do. They don't give up. They're tenacious.
No,
they don't give up. They're driven by something.
Yeah,
even though they're Welsh.
Clearly not rugby.
so they haven't been touched by the.
Maybe it's Shirley Bassey.
Maybe. So So I think that I don't think that the Bulls are going to win by 12.
Look, it's not a 5-star screaming green light special.
Yeah.
But it's a green light special. It's 1,000 rand bet, plus 11.5 on the Dragons, which I imagine before kickoff will be down to about plus 9.5, plus 8.5. Okay. And if you understand arbitraging, when you get markets that move in 1 or 2 days back towards where you've bet, you can take. Say for example, I bet 5,000, which I will, on Connacht at plus 21.5.
Yeah.
If that goes down to 13 or 12.5, where it should be, then I can take Stormers minus 12.5 and Connacht plus 21.5. And if it finishes, if the game finishes 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 points for the Stormers, I win both bets.
Okay.
Which is not a bad way to go.
No, it's not.
Or I can cash out the bet and take a profit. But I like to roll the dice, you know?
Yeah.
Bit of a dice roll.
No, well, I'm not going to argue with you on that one.
Yeah. So for me, Dragons as well, plus 11.5, very, very appealing bet.
Yes. Especially if it's a wet night.
It's in Newport. So what do you think? What do you think the chances are?
And it's rained a lot over there just recently.
But I left Newport when I was 10 years old, and it's still raining.
Probably is.
Yeah.
Probably is.
Yeah. I like to refer to Newport as the arsehole of nowhere.
Okay. And you actually spent 10 years of your life there.
Well, yeah, and a little bit more when I went back and stuff like that. So, like a salmon, I always go back there every once in a while just to see what I'm not missing.
Okay.
Then we have the Lions versus Glasgow,
and that's also an interesting one.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on it?
I think that to me, the Lions beating Glasgow is an upset It's always an upset. I mean, you'd expect because they're the top of the log, and they were champions 2 years ago, that Glasgow would be favourites no matter where they go.
Yeah.
And I would expect them to be favourites, but I understand that they're not.
No, it's documented through betting sites that they are plus 7.5 underdog. The Lions are minus 7.5 favourites to win that game.
I found that one
odd.
That one very odd as well. I mean, I rate the Lions as underdogs. I think that they've got a great chance to win as dark horses, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't see them as favourites. I don't know how they see them as favourites.
Well,
I mean, they're playing against a team that's been in imperious form in the URC for much of the season. I know they tripped up against Toulon last week, but that was Toulon. The previous week, they weren't that great against the Bulls at home. I think that in the EPCR competitions, or in the Champions Cup, I think that the nerves eventually got to them. I really do. I think that and I think that the little bit of subconscious self-management, if you know what I'm saying, the knowledge that, because I mapped it out, what Glasgow had to do if they wanted to win both competitions, which is basically play flat out, almost like on a knockout footing.
Which is almost impossible.
From when they played against Benetton straight after the Six Nations, all the way through till the URC final, which is in late June. I mean, they would have had to play. So they're playing in Joburg on Saturday. Then they would have come to
where from what my friend tells me, it's been raining all week.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm assuming it's a bit more rain on Saturday, but if not, it doesn't matter.
That field is a nightmare at the moment.
Look, the Lions will throw it wide, play that game, and Glasgow should have enough fucking technical ability to strangle out the game.
You know what? Where the betting sites might be going with that is, I don't know if it was the last time that Glasgow came here, but I think it was. They scored almost 50 points against Glasgow. They put Glasgow away. It was the year that Glasgow won the URC.
Last
year, 2024. So in 2024, they thumped Glasgow, and I think people might be looking at that. But what then they're forgetting is that subsequent to that, Glasgow came to Pretoria and won a final. Yeah. So it all depends on Glasgow's mindset. And when I saw them lose to Toulon in that very tight game last week, I saw a red flag for South African teams, because I think one of the things that
they're all in on the
because they would have come to Cape Town the week after the Joburg. They would have played against the Stormers, knowing that the following week, this is if they'd beaten Toulon, the following week they were hosting Leinster in the semi-final of the which is somewhere Glasgow have never been before. No. So they would have been hosting them in the Champions Cup semi-final the following week, and they would have had the focus deflected. No. Now their focus is no longer deflected. They've had this amazing season, and they're in danger, if they don't go anywhere in the URC, of not ending up with any silverware. So they're going to So there might be a bit of a hangover from having lost to Toulon, but I just think, knowing Franco Smith, and I watched the Glasgow after that game when they got into the huddle and Franco sort of read the right act to them. I think there's been a lot of talking in that Glasgow camp this week, and I think that they're going to be very hard to beat on Saturday.
Unless some of them are mugged and all that stuff in Joburg, which could happen.
Never know.
Nice to see Julius Malema get 5 years. I know people don't like me talking politics, but every once in a while you got to celebrate good decisions.
Okay. Yeah.
What a muppet. Anyway.
Well, he doesn't play rugby as far as I know, so I'm not going to comment.
No. Okay. No, he doesn't. Lions minus 7.5. It's a game where I see what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying, but I'm not touching it.
When you say what you agree with what I'm saying, that the Lions are good underdogs.
They are.
And that Glasgow...
Out of trap 2, they run well.
Yeah.
Out of trap 1, not so well.
Yeah. Look... It would be great. It would be great for South African rugby if the Lions win.
Yeah.
And it would be great for the Lions. And the Lions have been building up for this game for 2 weeks now, because they never played any EPCR in fact, 3 weeks since I don't know who they last beat. I think it was the Dragons, actually. Yeah, the Dragons just before Easter. Yeah. Yes. I don't know if I would touch it either, because it's very difficult to.
When you have two juicy bets that you're digging into.
Yeah.
You want to see how those things go before you start spending any money or anything like that. Connacht should be a banker, absolute banker.
Yeah.
Dragons will probably make you wonder. That they could be five. They could be 5 down, 6 down, and the Bulls score another try. Then they cover the handicap. But I do believe the Dragons will get across the line. It takes 80 minutes of a game, and don't worry about anything in the game other than the whistle. I do believe the Dragons will get across the line.
You can get across the line by not losing by 12.
By not losing by 12.
No, I agree with you there. Yeah.
So then we're going to go to the Lions versus Glasgow. I'm just going to be a spectator and watch that. I might take the total points depending on what the weather conditions are doing. Okay. But I'm not betting on the outcome of that game. I'll let my money ride in the first 2 games. Got a substantial bet with Connacht at plus 21.5. A decent bet 1,000 with the Dragons plus 11.5. And then watch Glasgow and the Lions and cheer for the Lions. Because it'd be great for the Stormers.
It's good for everybody else, if they beat Glasgow.
And then
it's not good for the Sharks if they beat Glasgow, but it's good for everybody else.
No. Yeah. And then you have the Sharks versus Ospreys.
No, I think the Ospreys are going to win that game.
And the Sharks are favoured right now at minus 1.5
to win.
And I like the Ospreys in that game for 2,000 rand plus 1.5 for the Ospreys to win outright.
I'd back you on that one. I think that the Sharks are missing too many big players. Yeah. I mean, they've got an 18-year-old who's going to be making his debut in Swansea at night.
Oh God!
I mean, for goodness' sake, at fullback.
But
and then they've got, mind you, the last youngster who made a debut for the Sharks was Leon Khulumi in Durban, and he's 19 years old, and he was brilliant in that game. So who knows? But this guy's still a schoolboy from what I understand.
I wouldn't let my 18-year-old boy go out for a drink in Swansea at night.
I've been to Swansea, and I'd agree with you.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what I'm talking about.
You pay your money and you take your chances, as they say in Swansea.
The game is definitely in Swansea, not in Bridgend. Every now and then they play in Bridgend.
No, I believe it's in Swansea.
It's in Swansea.
Even if it's in Bridgend.
Yeah, no, Bridgend's worse.
Bridgend's worse.
Yeah. Bridgend's worse. Exactly. Okay, so I think the Sharks without not that he's been there anyway. I mean, I don't know why they even count Eben as a Sharks player anymore, because he's just never there.
Yeah,
it's almost like this figurehead that sits in the
Of course,
in the background.
he's like Confucius.
Absolutely. Yeah. So without Eben, without Fussy, I think he's a big miss for them. Obviously, because of what the backup. They've got Ethan Hooker back, and they've got Andre Esterhazen back, and he makes a difference.
He does make a difference.
So I don't think the Sharks are going to get beaten by much, but I'd be surprised if they won. And if they lose, then their season's over. I
think a 5-point differential there for Ospreys.
Yeah,
Ospreys will man up. It's probably raining in Swansea. I'm sorry, on the weekend. It rains in Wales someplace.
I don't think I've ever been to Swansea where it hasn't been raining.
Yeah.
Okay, one night. I remember I was there in Guy Fawkes Night in 1994.
I remember it well. And I was in London that time.
Were you? Okay. Yeah. So the Springboks played against Swansea that afternoon and won 79.
When's Guy Fawkes Night? In September.
Sorry?
September.
No, November. November the 3rd. November the 5th.
Is it that late?
Yeah, Guy Fawkes is late. Yeah. I was going to say in South Africa, but obviously there's a Guy Fawkes is UK.
Yeah.
But that was the night where we had fireworks outside, and Uli Schmidt and Rudolph Strauss I got woken up by a fire alarm, and it was Rudolph Strauss and Uli Schmidt, there's 2 Springboks, letting off fireworks down the passage.
Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys. Yeah. Both intelligent guys, and one's a doctor, one's a qualified lawyer. Yeah. So, but it was it was a memorable week, and most of that week. Most of that week, the weather battered the windows. I remember because I had like a sea-facing room at the Marriott right on the front there.
But they say in Wales, when you're in a hotel room, you've always got a sea-facing because it's just piss. You see piss rain outside. They sell every hotel room in Wales as a sea-facing room, simply because of the wetness.
What is the Ospreys' form though? Because they're the one team I haven't looked too much at. I think they're 30 points at the moment. They're 3 points behind the Sharks, so they've got like the slightest chance of still getting to the top.
Look, the Ospreys are not a bad side. They're not like Cardiff.
They're like a workman-like sort of.
Yep. Yeah. They should win. They should. They'll be targeting this to win. And like you say, without a couple of the key Sharks,
and I don't think they played EPCR either, so they've been sitting waiting for this game.
Yeah.
No, I'd agree. It's
especially after our massive resurgence against the Italians.
Yeah. Oh, yes, the Welsh resurgence against the Italians. Well, we were talking up Italy as if they were world beaters, so we have to take that one on the chin. But I predicted a Welsh win that day, remember?
You did.
I don't want to have let you forget
You
that.
did, and you've never let me forget about it, as humble as you are. I appreciate that. Gav,
what else are we going to talk about?
there's not much to talk about. It's like...
Ulster are hosting Leinster.
Yeah, well, look, I'm not betting on that because it's too close to call. I know Ulster are favoured by -1.5, meaning that they're expected to win by 2 or more. I think you can toss a coin either way, but if I'm going to bet, I'm betting on the home team. 5 points is what I allocate to the home team each game. So to me, I think Ulster, you have to, if you're going to bet and you have to have a bet. I'm not talking. I'm trying to get people out of having a bet.
You see, Leinster. Okay, so the science behind this is that Leinster played Sale Sharks last week in the Champions Cup quarterfinal.
Yeah.
So they have. I know Ulster also played in the Challenge Cup, but it's a much bigger thing, the Champions Cup, and Leinster are once again in that frame where I think that they're looking at. Last year, remember, they were knocked out early, and they think they went out in the semi-final, and they end up having to settle for going all out in the URC after that. But I think this year, Leinster are desperate to win the Champions Cup, and I think that might deflect them a bit. So I think that I would make Ulster, who have had a really good season, a number of their players have done well in the Irish international setup. I would also make Ulster favourites to win that game. Slight and knock back Leinster, and that will also help the Stormers. And the Bulls, and the Lions, if the Lions win on Saturday too.
Well, if you have to have a bet. Now, the bets I'm telling you to make, Connacht, you should be counting your money. Yeah. Your bank account grows. You have the bet on the Bulls, your bank account should grow. Don't be going 50-50 on bets. I mean, if you don't know, enjoy the game.
The caveat to the Stormers one, though, Kevin, is that they are still a team that, the Stormers, are still one of those teams that can suddenly hit a purple patch in a game and bury an opponent. When they've got Damien Willems and Sasha on the field in the same game, and they've got I don't know who else they're selecting for this weekend, but just those two guys in the same back line always makes it possible that you get a fast start or something, and the Stormers are suddenly 28-3 up at half-time, which I think was the case last year, and Connacht fought back.
Look, the problem with betting. And the good thing about betting is you don't know.
You don't know. That's why we have a game.
Yeah. So the Stormers may hit a purple patch and blow them out by 30. Yeah. And everybody's coming onto my site and saying, "What do you say now, money man?" I don't say anything.
I say it's sport.
I say that's sport. That's where I put my money. It was the right bet to make. If you didn't make it, congratulations. That's it. Yeah. And we move on. And I got enough people on my sites to support me and know what I'm about. You know? They know my credibility, my ratings, everything else. You don't do 5 years, 6 years of sports betting and survive without being credible. Yeah. I don't think there's anybody I know in South Africa that makes more money through proper betting than me. Sorry, they may make more money because they bet more, but no one has a higher success rate than what I predict. Yeah. So we predicted 2 cracking games. There's 4 cracking games this weekend.
It's a weekend where you can't really
turn off
that
the
previous
TV.
week. But that previous weekend of URC, I think we had to predict spreads for all the games because all the games South African teams are playing because we felt that the South African teams were going to win each game. This week we could have the opposite. Yeah, it's not impossible.
No, and next week I am flying over to watch Leeds versus Chelsea in the semi-final. As a Leeds fan, you don't get to Wembley very often.
And as a Liverpool fan, thanks to Leeds for knocking over
Man United.
You're
welcome.
In the week. Yeah.
We play Wolves this week. We should seal our permanent stay in the Premier League, though nothing surprises me. Yeah. But I'll be there at Wembley on Sunday. Then I'm meeting the immortal Scott Gibbs. Good. And flying to Marbella and Granada for 10 days of a little naughtiness.
Okay.
Skullduggery, and I'll probably do a couple videos with him. Maybe next week's video I'll drag Scotty along, clean him up and put him in front of the camera. He's very articulate, as you know.
Yeah, I've done stuff with Scotty.
Yeah. So Thanks for wishing me well.
Good luck. Are we going to? I'm going to talk to you on Zoom next week.
We'll do a Teams on Zoom.
Okay.
And because I'll be near the pulse.
And you're going to be. I mean, last time you flew overseas, you disappeared.
Yeah,
I think you went to Poland.
Poland was horrible, man. No, sorry, Poland wasn't nice. My frame of mind was terrible. I wasn't in a good place.
That's why I'm not wishing you well, because I'm sort of worried that you're going to have the same experience.
You're worried about me. Well, that's the same thing as wishing me.
You fly overseas, you freeze up or something.
I wasn't in a good space last year. Everything's going well this year.
Okay,
happy as Larry. I look forward to Leeds. Getting to see my brother, who I haven't seen for 2 years. Okay. So from a personal point of view, business is going well. Scotty gets talking, and he's a passionate guy.
No,
he
is.
He wears his heart on his sleeve if you know him well enough and get him to open up.
Yeah.
So maybe I can get Scotty a little drunk and do a video with him.
Okay.
It'll be entertaining. No, I wouldn't do that to him. But it should be fun. I look forward to chatting to you from Marbella.
Okay.
You know?
I look forward to that too. Marbella's in Spain, eh?
Si.
Sorry?
Si. Yes.
Okay. I'm just
Claro.
making sure. I was just trying to, because at first I wasn't
It's
sure.
near Gibraltar.
I wasn't following the pronunciation. But
No,
okay.
it's right
Marbella,
down there by
Spain,
Cyprus and Gibraltar, and
Okay.
it's on the Mediterranean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I look forward to doing a broadcast from there. I know that Ahmad, our off-camera guy, will be a little bit jealous. You know, he'll be there. He loves Scotty Gibbs, and we'll make sure that I'll bring you back a souvenir for Ahmad. Yeah. Just tell me what you need. Welsh flag. When I was young, and this is a horrible story, but no, I'm not going to say it anyway. A Welsh flag. Yeah, I'll bring you back a Welsh flag. Yeah. Okay. Guys, thanks very much for tuning in. Like and subscribe, or unlike and subscribe. Follow us. When you see me out and about, or Gavin out and about, come up and shake our hands. You never know. Gavin's pockets might have gotten shorter. I don't know. They're pretty deep. Maybe there's a beer in it for you.
I don't bet. Unlike you, I don't bet.
Yeah, no.
So I don't make money on my.
I've never not
predictions.
bought somebody that's come up to me in a bar and said, "You're the money man." I said, "Don't tell anybody," but yes, I am, and I bought them a drink.
Okay. Well,
every single time.
Well, I haven't. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
well,
guys,
they don't call me the money man because I'm not the money man. They'd call me Rich Pickings, I suppose.
Well, that's what they'd call you. And I mean, it's like when Mark came up with that name years ago, Mark Johann, and I hated it.
Okay.
Absolutely hated it. So much so that when I went to I have a domain name, the Moneyman SA@gmail.com. And so I was filling in this thing in New York at Banana Republic or whatever, and I had to fill in the email. And so I filled it in just thinking, oh, God. And she goes, wow, cool name.
I'm sure.
So I knew it was pretty horrible that she was like, cool name. Yeah. That beautiful American accent. Yeah. But, folks, thanks for tuning in. Make some money. Fill your boots. Connacht plus 21.5.
Yeah.
Dragons plus 11.5.
Yeah.
You should be in the money. Thank us later. Have a great weekend.
Thanks.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks.